Morning, good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Ooh. 12-12. Today is 12-12. A lot of the numerology guys are going 12-12, but the world's going to end on 12-12. Could. The world could end any day, especially the financial world. But today's a big day for the Fed. Yes, I know they kept interest rates the same. They said, oh, the world's going to be fine. There's no problem here. Look the other way. Meanwhile, they've bailed out the banks. As of last night, they needed $366 billion just to survive last night. So the Fed being disingenuous is nothing new. That's the job of the Fed, is to lie and to obfuscate the obvious that they are printing money like it's going out of style. You don't even need paper and printing presses to print money anymore. What's the difference between $100 billion and $1 trillion? A little tiny zero at the end in electronic money, and that's what we live in. That's what Alan Greenspan invented in the 1960s and 70s, the first electronic money, using the programs written by his best friend, John Kimony, the guy who invented basic computing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to roadrunner.com, do some research. Look up Alan Greenspan, look at his true meaning in life. He always wanted to go back onto a gold standard. What's the best way to get there? Print as much money as possible and destroy the system. So bravo, Greenspan, you did it. One of his best friends, Paul Volcker, passed away. What do I think of Volcker? He was working with the good guys, but at the same time, he was a liar, cheater, and stealer when it comes to rigging the gold markets in the 1980s. Had he not jacked the interest rates up to 20% and rigged the gold market and the silver market, this shit would have been over long ago. But it's not the world we live in. You got to deal with the cards you're dealt. Today is a big day for the Fed. Why is 12-12 a big day? Because they're going to announce a mega repo operation over the next month. And the announcement comes today. If you look at the repurchase agreement operation details from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, this is where I get a lot of my information on what they plan to do. Of course, what they plan and what they do after is something different. But they planned out November 15th through December 12th, which is today. And then here on the right side says next release date, 12/12/2019. Big day. Why? Because all these numbers are going to jump significantly. Because they don't have enough money. The banks are still dying, even though we're giving them $366 billion a night to use at their discretion. I would like that. How rich could you be if you had $366 billion a night, every night, rolled over? But the last time, here's something interesting. They announced this on November 11th, the operational details. And it basically says we're going to give the banks approximately this amount of money. But look down at the bottom, about halfway through on the 25th, so 10 days later, they had to up it from on one day from $15 billion to $25 billion. And on another day, which was just, 3 days ago, they had to up it from 15 to 25 billion. I expect these numbers to be at least 50 billion, maybe even up to 100 billion on the term repos. But at least 50 billion, keep an eye out for it, because they're going to have to jump this thing, and it's going to jump to astronomical levels. If you follow the Road to Ruta, if you're on the private road, I keep track of this stuff every day. I post it, and on Patreon. Patreon and the private road, I post this information, and I discuss Fed repos. And here's where we are. I've been keeping a tally. Now this is the overnight repos, the reverse repos, the term repos, and the POMOs, the permanent operations, which I think are going to ramp up as well, especially as we get into now. I was going to say get into the end of December. No, now. It's starting now. I am going to post, I was going to post it today, the timeline for the Road to Ruta. How long it's going to take for all this crap to roll out. What I expect in the future. No, it is not a bull pony. This is happening this day. This is Bix Weir saying, here's what I expect, because I know everybody wants to know what's going to happen. And lately I've been pretty spot on. I mean, nobody gets it exactly right. But September 11th, 2019 was a great call because that's when the shit broke apart. And that's when, on the Monday after that, they started the repo situation. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be posting that. I don't know what time I'm going to post it because I want to digest what the Fed says about how much bailouts they're going to be. I think they're going to go into exponential mode right here. We're at 366 as of yesterday, 366 billion they needed last night. I think in the next, what's the day, 12? So in the next 4 days, they're going to jump that to over 400. And then by the end of the year, over 500. Maybe even up to the $700 billion mark that they needed to go to Congress for the bailout in 2008. That is going to raise a lot of flags. Now we have this China thing, which is huge, but it's part of a game. So China and the U.S. are playing the same game. If they want to destroy the markets, yeah, they'll claim, hey, we got no deal. That's it. It's the end of the largest trading partnership on planet Earth in the history of planet Earth. What would that do to the markets? Nothing. You know why? That's rigged with a computer program, unless they want it to. They can click a mouse and set the price of the Dow to 0 or 1,000,000 with a click of a mouse. Same thing with Bitcoin, Litecoin, silver, gold. It does not matter. The computer programs invented in the 1960s control all markets, and it's run out of the Fed New York. The basement of the U.S. Treasury is a computer trading floor. I've seen pictures of it. They've been posted pictures of it. The basement of the U.S. Treasury building is a computer trading floor rigging all markets along with the New York Fed. That's where the basement of the U.S. Treasury building is where the Exchange Stabilization Fund hangs out. Those guys with their little computers, click. I think I'm going to sell, how about 21 million Bitcoin? I'm selling right now. Click. That's how easy it is. How do you sell 21 million Bitcoin? You go on any exchange you want because they don't have the Bitcoin. And when you're the U.S. government and the market riggers, money doesn't matter. Fiat money doesn't matter. Stuff like real silver, real gold, real Bitcoin, real Litecoin, those do matter. But they can set the price to 0 with a click of a mouse on any of them. They can set the price of the US dollar to 0. They can set the price of anything, oil, to 0. Would it cause havoc in the markets? Yes. Are we about to see havoc in the markets? Absolutely. My friend Dick Allgaier, the best remote viewer on planet Earth, saw this coming. Computers fighting each other and locking up. I think I have a day. Well, I have a time frame that I'll be posting on the private road tomorrow. If you want to join the private road, go to road2road.com and click right up at the top there, subscribe today. And you can have all the information on the private road. Actually, I'm giving away the extra USB bracelets with, it's got 9 songs and 13 videos on it for free, along with the Very token and the silver coin. You guys know the drill there, but back to Zero Hedge. Let's just scroll down a little on Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge is an amazing tool. You should read it every day. What's going on with Lagarde? Knee deep in numerology, that woman, so she probably loves today. No changes or surprises from ECB's Lagarde's first meeting. Interesting that she holds her first meeting on 12/12. Remember, Lagarde is the one with the magic number 7. Crazy shit, I know, but it's real. I got the videos to prove it. If you look up Christine Lagarde magic number 7 on YouTube, you're going to see the weirdest speech you've ever seen in your life. China warns it will retaliate after Reuters reports Trump will proceed with December 15th tariffs. Washington won't be so naive as to believe that it can crush China. Now, this is a game. Seeing something like this tells me, they're probably going to come to a deal. If Reuters is priming the market like this. Sorry, guys, glitch. I don't know if it's bad guys turning me off. But I wanted to jump right ahead to if the China deal is signed and stocks go crazy, might be the worst thing for the repo market. Here's why. This is from that guy Zoltan Pozsar, the guru on repos. Probably the only guru on planet Earth on repos. He's expecting a massive QE probably today might be disguised as a repo schedule. I'll be talking about that when it's announced. It hasn't been announced yet. It's early in the morning on the 12th. But here's something he said. One especially ironic development is that the higher stock prices in the coming weeks will only make matters worse in the repo market. Quote, if the equity markets rally and auctions go poorly, GSIB scores will keep going higher, and the risk that funding market pressures from managing GSIB scores will show up starting the last 2 weeks of the year and will last longer than just the spot turn turning rising. Said otherwise, the dire warning from arguably the top expert on the repo market is that the adverse cascade will begin in the last 2 weeks of the year, meaning that traders have about a few days to take preventive measures. That said, there's one potential out: the Fed steps in. Just in case anyone still has a rosy outlook on what the next 3 weeks may bring, Pozar repeats his devastating conclusion, quote, year-end in the FX swap market is thus shaping up to be the worst in recent memory, and the markets are not pricing this in. Prices don't seem to discount the fact that excess reserves are gone and the Fed's operations still have not added any, and that GSIB scores are binding, and the risk large U.S. banks clamping down on market making. Insane. Things are about to fall apart, and they can fall apart with a rising stock market, which would hit the bond market adversely, and boom, you have an implosion of the entire system like I've been talking about for a long time. That's where we are, my friends. Hang on tight. Join the Road to Ruta if you want up-to-the-date information, and the private road timeline will be tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. I will make slight adjustments to the timeline based on what the Fed says in their announcement today that a huge repo schedule will be set, especially before the end of the year. I expect it to go over 500 billion, probably even more than that. If it hits 700 billion, we can ring the bell and say, hey, 2008, 700 billion hit and Congress had to vote for it. 2019, nobody's voting for anything. What's the deal, Congress? Congress. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Don't forget. Thanks. Bye.
Well, I grew up in the USA. I was taught that speech was free. Birmingham to Burning Man, you can speak any truth you see. Lately things have changed, they say I can't speak truth no more. And I'm just sitting here wondering who they are working for. See, they're gonna kick me off of YouTube. Unless I say 9/11's just another day. And they delete my friends on Facebook. Unless I pretend that socialism's a-okay. And they are gonna shadow ban my Twitter. Unless I tweet the chemtrails of Perrier. Finally they'll ban everything I've got to say as they kill free speech in the USA. They decide what's right, they decide what's wrong, they ban what won't conform. They sit in the shadows, they run the gallows, say I must abide the norm. Without free speech we lose freedom, they cut off our free will. If I find truth that they don't like, they'll label me a shill. And then they're gonna kick me off of YouTube. Unless I say 9/11's just another day. And they delete my friends on Facebook. unless I pretend that socialism's a-okay. And they are gonna shadow ban my Twitter unless I tweet the chemtrails of Perrier. Finally they'll ban everything I've got to say as they kill free speech in the USA. They're trying to kill free speech in the USA. Now wait a minute, it's not like me to give up on a fight. I'll expose their evil plans, bring their shadows into light. And I'll name names, I'll play their games, I've got them in my sight. They're trying to change the USA, I'll fight for what is right. So they can kick me off for YouTube. 9/11's all about building 7 and it ain't okay. And they can delete all my Facebook, but socialists fail every time in every single way. And they can shadow ban my Twitter, but I'm looking up at chemtrail skies each and every day. See, they have no right to ban anything I have to say, and I'll fight for free speech in the USA. I'm gonna fight for free speech in the USA. It's my right, free speech in the USA.